Another opportunity to stake our claim in the top four and just the top eight goes begging against a gallant Essendon side. Let's talk about it. So I said in my preview and all week that this was a must-win game. You hear that from a lot of media commentators. It's a must-win game for both of these sides. Essendon hadn't beaten a side in the top eight. And of course, they come out and play a game like that against us and beat a side in the top eight. And we were that side that they had to beat in the top eight. And look, credit to Essendon. After that first quarter, they came out and played their absolute hearts out. Their pressure was through the roof. It made us fumble and not know what the hell we were doing. So, credit to them. They fully deserved that win. And if we did come back at the end, we would have stolen it. So yeah, look, credit to them. But these Pies, man, these freaking Pies, they are. I called Essendon a roller coaster. I've called Fremantle a roller coaster. Western Bulldogs, but I think the Pies are a bit on that up and down roller coaster at the moment. So since that Gold Coast game, we've been saying that we need to start games better, not just leave it to the last quarter to come back and play really nice football. Let's do it from the start and keep going. And we start the game. Jack Crisp kicks 3 goals in, a minute and a half of football. The Essendon team doesn't even touch the ball. We're getting goals out of clearances, goals out of stoppages, where we've kicked 5 goals in the first quarter and we're looking really good and playing good football, running, getting on top of Essendon, even if they were, transitioning the ball down back. We were pushing back, we were pressuring, we were doing what we needed to do. The transition from the back line to the forward line was great. Like I said, Jack Crisp kicks those 3 goals. And then that was it. That was it. We started off strong, and I thought that starting off strong, I somehow stupidly thought that starting off strong meant you can keep going with the rest of the game. We had an okay second quarter. That third quarter was diabolical, was shambolic. Essendon kicked 4 goals. We kicked 2 points, and then there was a little fight back at the end for Essendon to win by 12 points. And I think 12 points is really flattering. I felt like it was more like a 5 or a 6 goal loss than a 12-point loss. So you probably look at that loss on paper and you go, oh, 12 points, Pies must have played well. Essendon missed a lot of shots, and the Pies just weren't up for it. They were not up for the fight. It's crazy that after a quarter like we had, after that first quarter, we can just play shit football for the rest of it. I think the first quarter, the team, to me anyway, the team seemed like they knew what they were doing. They knew where they were going. They knew the game plan that they wanted to execute. And then as soon as Essendon put a little bit of pressure on, we started to crumble. We didn't know where to go. Essendon started playing this keepings off game that we know that they do. And it felt like we just didn't prepare for it. They were just chipping it around, going from the fat end of the ground or the skinny end of the ground all the way to the fat end of the ground, transitioning the ball left and right really well, playing that sort of chess almost. And we just couldn't do anything. And as the game got on further, our players didn't want to run. And I hate to say it because we don't know. As supporters, we have absolutely no clue. But it did, and you probably can ask most Collingwood supporters, it looked like there wasn't any hunger or desire. So Essendon won the tackle count 56-43. We had 4 tackles inside 50. And just to give you a perspective of that, we averaged close to 12 tackles inside our forward 50. So our forwards weren't working hard enough. And it's crazy to think that even though we were losing and Essendon were running through us in the last 3 quarters, that we had less tackles than them. We couldn't stick tackles. Essendon were breaking tackles left, right, and centre. And we just looked off. We looked a couple of percentages off. And how many times do we say that? If you're a couple of percent off this game, you get eaten alive. And that's exactly what Essendon did. If they had kicked straight, they would have won by 7 or 8 goals. It was was disappointing. To say the absolute least, it was disappointing. To say the most, it was yeah, it was a gut-wrenching loss in a must-win game. And as much as I really liked that first quarter, and I said, we were transitioning the ball really well, after that first quarter, there was no transition. We had our pressure count was 165, which is the second worst in Craig McRae's tenure at the Pies. Let that sink in for a second. We are known for our, we're the pressure Pies. That's what we've been doing for the last 3 years, and we had barely any pressure. That's disgusting, really. It's gross. And this game was a culmination of, oh man, I feel like I'm going to put my foot in it. But it was a culmination of letting the Kangaroos get 50 points up. And I know we came back and I know we celebrated well. That was a fucking good win. It was a really good win. But it was a culmination of even letting North Melbourne get 50 points up. And then it was the Gold Coast game. And this was a culmination of all of that. And you can say, I think what it is, it's the synergy. There's no synergy in this team at the moment for the last few weeks. And I think a part of that has to do with the injuries that we've had and the team not being able to play together. And, like I said in my Finding Balance video, you can put 5 players in, but how many times does that team go on and win a game the next week that they come in, It's about finding that synergy again, and we're trying to find it, and we just can't. And yeah, it really sucks to see. It's sad. It's disheartening, and when I guess when you have so much expectations on a team, and then they come out really well after the media giving it to their life, and then they come back and in the next 3 quarters they play shit house, it deflates you. It really deflates you. And this game, yeah, credit to the Roos. They just wanted it more. Credit to the Roos. Credit to the Bombers. They just wanted it more. They really, really wanted it more. And we after quarter time, we just didn't look up to it. And you can't win games. You can't win finals when you're letting teams take 130 uncontested marks and not wanting to tackle. 46 tackles is pathetic, or whatever we had. 4 tackles inside 50 when, we're known for those tackles inside 50. When we average 12 is that's so bad. That's really, really bad. I'm just so, upset. I don't think this is the downfall of the Pies, like a lot of opposition supporters are saying. I don't think this is the downfall. I think our best is very good. We just have to find it. And I there is 7 games left, and I think we will find it. I think we'll start peaking around 2021, like round 2021. Is when we'll start peaking. And maybe that's just me being naive and not wanting to admit something to myself. But that's just what I'm going to tell myself, because I deserve to look after my own mental health, and if I have to lie to myself, then I'll bloody lie to myself, mate. Yeah, I don't think it's the downfall yet. I think the hunger needs to come back, and I think Fly, as much as I love him so much, he needs to send a rocket up these guys' asses. And I know that he says on Monday when you come into training, you won't know if we won or lost. I think these boys have to know that they bloody lost when it comes to Monday training. It has to be the best week of training because we play Geelong on Friday night. Now, I've been really sad in talking about all the negatives. I want to talk about a couple of positives. I thought Steele Sidebottom had one of his best games of the year. 30 plus disposals. He was everywhere tonight, which was really good. I love that about him. And he was playing off the half-back line, which I really liked. Ned Long played 30% of game time, a couple of tackles, did a couple of nice things, has got a really good kick on him. I know that was his knock. It used to be his knock at Hawthorn, but I thought he had a really good kick on him. I think he did enough to warrant a full game next week, and with the injuries that we have, it's probably going to look like he needs a full game anyway. But I like what he did. I absolutely liked what he did. Jack Crisp, I thought he had a really good first quarter. He goes quiet for the next couple of quarters, but 3 goals in a minute and a half or whatever it was is absolutely incredible. The only thing is there wasn't a lot of positives in such a negative game. The positive was that first quarter. We looked on fire in that first quarter. DeGoey, Pendlebury, and all these guys. Pendlebury hit the 200th goal today, which was really nice. But there wasn't a lot of positives. But we can take a little bit of these out. And, Ned Long, 9th debutant for the season. Looks good. We'll see him again next week. Something else I wanted to touch on were these injuries. Now, Mychek tears his pec right at the end. I thought it was a dislocated shoulder, tears his pec. So that's a 3-month injury. We won't see him for the rest of the season. He's going to need surgery. Isaac Quaynor does something to his toe. He's going to go get scans. Darcy Cameron, earlier this week at training, according to Fly, copped a really bad hit in the ribs. But he said he was right to go. Gets another hit in the same area after halftime. And now he might have cracked ribs. They're going to go do scans, see if he's got any internal damage. So we might be without a ruckman. We might see Ilaro Smith debut because we don't have a ruckman because Cox is still out. Those 3 were injured. Charlie Dean wasn't injured. He was just a tactical sub. Oh, another positive is I like Jeremy Howe up forward. I think it's hard. If we could clone Howe and have him up forward and down back, I think that would be perfect. But I like having Dean down back and I like having Dean down back and Jeremy Howe up forward. I think that works really well. I know Dean was subbed off for tactical reasons. We just needed to inject some pace, and we're trying to win the game, not sort of save the game, so that's fine. I understand that. But I like Howe up forward, and I kind of hope it stays. But how long can you keep Howie up forward when Darcy Moore is having... That was probably the worst game I've seen Darcy play. And I know, and I did that video about Darcy and about Nathan Murphy and stuff like that. So watch that. It's a couple of videos back. But yeah, backline is a little bit dysfunctional at the moment. Is it naive to say that although we're doing poorly, right? We're doing poorly. 7 games left. We need at least 4 wins. I like that there's room for improvement, and we're seeing it in patches. We just have to put it all together. I like that there's room for improvement, but I don't know if that's like too positive. Is that toxic positivity if I'm saying that we're playing shit house, but we can see that there's room for improvement, and I can feel that they're going to improve and they're going to come good in the next couple of weeks. You can just feel it. Is that too positive? Is that toxic? I don't really know, but I'm just gonna convince myself and lie to myself to make myself feel better, I guess. But yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, look, leave your thoughts down below. Let me know your thoughts on the game, on the pies, what is going on. And until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.